Breaking news in the Bronx. This is Bronx Fan Central.
Breaking news has just exploded behind the scenes in New York. A massive star could finally clean up the mess in our infield and, at the same time, solve the biggest headache our offense has been dealing with. If you're anything like me and can barely sleep dreaming about championship number 28, pay close attention because things are heating up fast and time is running out. Jai. And if you're a true Bronx Bombers fan, make sure to subscribe to the channel. According to the New York Post, the 2026 season has shown that the Yankees can still win games, but the black hole in this offense is impossible to ignore. The production from third base, catcher, and shortstop has been downright embarrassing. And what drives me absolutely crazy is watching Brian Cashman, with all his confidence, act like it's perfectly fine to go through an entire season relying on a mediocre platoon of Ryan McMahon and named Rosario at the hot corner. Seriously, Bronx Nation, are you okay with that? Year after year, we sit through the same questionable front office decisions, and it feels like they're constantly testing our patience. Cashman seems to believe that patchwork solutions win World Series rings. We need players with fire, clutch performers who embrace the biggest moments, not another depth piece collecting at-bats off the bench. The pressure from the fan base is reaching a boiling point, and sooner or later this pressure cooker is going to explode. But there's one detail that changes everything. The truth is that we've spent years searching for someone capable of leading this offense and setting the tone at the top of the lineup. Ever since our legendary captain retired, the number 2 jersey and the shortstop position have felt like a graveyard for broken promises. We've watched failed experiments, millions of dollars wasted, and that constant feeling that we're always one piece away from putting it all together. The front office still seems lost when it comes to finding a true leadoff hitter. Bronx Nation, tell me in the comments, how many times have you yelled at your television after watching our leadoff hitter strike out in the very first inning? That frustration has become part of our everyday life as Yankees fans. But now, according to sources in New York, Cashman's top target could be Washington Nationals superstar C.J. Abrams. He's a legitimate all-star, not one of those bargain bin pickups we always seem to settle for. And there's an even bigger reason to get excited. C.J. Abrams has developed into one of the best offensive shortstops in all of Major League Baseball. We're not talking about empty numbers on a stat sheet. We're talking about real impact on the field. His left-handed swing looks like it was handcrafted by the baseball gods specifically for Yankee Stadium. That famous short porch in right field would practically become his personal backyard. He doesn't just make contact. He combines hard-hit balls, balanced power, and elite speed on the bases that constantly puts opposing defenses under pressure. He's the kind of player who reaches base and immediately creates chaos. Suddenly, our lineup wouldn't have to rely almost entirely on the middle of the order. We'd finally have a true table setter creating scoring opportunities from the very first inning. Looking at this possibility, I can't help but say it. Maybe Cashman has finally identified the exact type of player this team has needed for years. But the story doesn't end there. What determines everything now is the madness of the trade market. Everything happening behind the scenes is still speculation, and it's important to make that crystal clear. Nothing has been signed or finalized. However, reliable sources say the Washington Nationals are still deciding whether they'll stay competitive or wave the white flag. Johnson Eckley wien if the dit wild there. If they remain if the Taman and meets play shipshim bidding and win about this. If they remain in the playoff race, more I mu lom of mu.
Lipper is a go put of but mira blumog. Rezashim Carlisle. We chore active in Proctor.
Guttum isn't leaving Washington. But if the front office decides to become sellers before the trade deadline, the Yankees immediately become one of the most logical landing spots. Bronx Nation, this is where my blood really starts boiling. If the opportunity opens up, Cashman has to move with precision. He has everything he needs to finally fix the glaring weakness on the left side of the infield. The problem is that Yankees fans have seen this movie before. We've watched the front office hesitate at the biggest moments and back away from blockbuster trades. We all know the history of coming up short when a franchise-changing move is sitting right in front of us. And that's exactly what's dividing the entire fan base. So what happens if this trade actually becomes reality? The best-case scenario is enough to bring tears to the eyes of every lifelong Yankees fan. The team goes from simply surviving to becoming one of the clear favorites to dominate the American League. Adding a player with Abrams' talent, completely changes the DNA of this offense. It eliminates empty at-bats, fills the hole in the infield, and injects tremendous energy into the clubhouse for the battles that await in October. Now, want to know the worst-case scenario? The Yankees hesitate once again, the trade deadline passes, and we're forced to watch the same painful platoon while hoping the offense doesn't disappear when the playoffs arrive. Bronx Nation, our championship window is right now, not next season. Baseball doesn't reward hesitation in the trade market. The final stretch of the 2026 season is no place for amateurs. The future of this team may depend on the decisions made over the next few weeks. So here's the bottom line. The Yankees are closely monitoring superstar C.J. Abrams as a potential solution for the infield and as the leadoff hitter this lineup desperately needs. Everything depends on whether the Nationals decide to become sellers before the deadline. Now it's your turn. Bronx Nation, tell me the truth. Would you trade our top prospects to bring C.J. Abrams to New York right now? Or would you rather take the risk and stick with the roster we already have? Leave your opinion in the comments. Jonathan Farblistem Genets Potted Moverg, and Don Omersur Klish, Rilid Nix to Nofil, and Chafet Enda Sixtai Fubias Rila, and Troding a Grown Muscast of Canadian Goal became from Muir Suchatzing Can the Move. Use resides of Erson Depleasing will create a help up to hears. Dix told of Potter Tainway Sands the log. See you in the next one, and let's hope the Bronx gets the blockbuster move we've all been waiting for.